Oh, two drums and a cymbal.
Yep.
Okay.
I didn't catch that. Come on, Jacob.
I caught myself.
Two drums and a cymbal fall off a cliff, but what if they dropped it just one at a time? It'd be bum.
Scott Ferkovich interview coming up next on Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
We first opened about 10 years ago. We were small, just a few of us, but it was exciting. I always dreamt of having my own business. It was kind of slow at first, but things started picking up. We had big plans. But in our wildest dreams, we never thought we'd have this much work. Yeah, with so many businesses caught off guard by the storm, Reed Waste Management has never been busier.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
Yeah.
Hey, check it out. I'm gonna need you to turn up your volume.
No. I'm supposed to say that. Come on. Hey, look, check it out. It's your guy, DJ Steph, the saucy man himself. Tune into It's Saucy, where I play nothing but hip-hop and reggae music.
1, 2, 3, hit me!
Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. on the Voice of Nassau Community College on 90.3 WHPC.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Of course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You are listening to Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Jacob Ball. Sitting across from me is Dominic Arbolino and Eric Fischetti, and we are fortunate enough to be joined by Scott Ferkovich, the author of Motor City Champs, Mickey Cochrane, and the 1934 to 1935 Detroit Tigers. Scott, how are you?
Great, guys. What's going on? How you doing?
Doing good. So, what exactly is your book about?
The 1935 Tigers, the first Tigers team to win the World Series. But not only that, Jake, this is a special team because at that time, unlike today where who knows when the next team in this town is going to go to the playoffs, we had the Tigers winning the World Series, and a couple of months after that, the Lions actually won their first NFL title, and the next April in '36, the Red Wings won their first Stanley Cup. You had the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis. And you got to remember, this was back when boxing was probably the second most popular sport in the nation. So you had a lot of champions. This was the city of champions, Detroit. But its focus is primarily on the Tigers, and that particular time when the city was kind of getting out of the Depression, making a comeback, and the nation was really inspired by this team.
No, yeah, definitely. So what can you tell us about Mickey Cochrane?
Mickey Cochrane was a star before arriving in Detroit. He probably would have been a Hall of Famer before he came to Detroit. He's in the Hall of Fame as a Tiger, but he had a long career with the Philadelphia A's and had gone to the World Series a couple times. He was a star. But Frank Navin, the Tigers owner, needed a new manager. following the 1933 season. He fired his manager, and actually Naven's first choice, believe it or not, was Babe Ruth. He wanted to bring Ruth on as a player-manager.
Yeah, that's right. That was what Ruth wanted. He wanted to be a player-manager. That was part of the reason why I went to...
player-manager, yeah. Things didn't quite work out, though. Ruth kind of hemmed and hawed. You know, he had some prior... See, Naven wanted to meet with Ruth to work things out. But Ruth had some prior commitments in Hawaii, exhibition games. He had to go there, and then they were talking back and forth on the phone. I think Ruth wanted a percentage of the gate, and Naven, at that point, kind of saw money flying out the window and didn't pursue it any longer than that. But the choice for Cochrane was the real money guy behind the Tigers, which was Walter Briggs. It's kind of like the co-owner, even though Naven was technically the true owner. But Briggs was the guy with the money, and he wanted to bring Cochrane on as a player-manager. They traded him, or they made the trade with Connie Mack from the Philadelphia A's. They got him for $100,000. They gave up $100,000 to Philadelphia and a no-name catcher. And it was probably the best move that the organization never made by not signing Ruth. Who knows what would have happened, but they got Mickey Cochrane instead.
Pretty good consolation prize.
Can you lay out for us the career of Tommy Bridges?
Tommy Bridges, okay. Well, he was probably the ace of the staff for a number of years. You know, he ended up winning 194 games, spent his whole career in Detroit, won 20 games 3 times from 1934 to 36. Not a hard thrower, but he had a devastating curveball, probably the best curveball at the time. And he was a gamer. He was a bulldog on the mound. He didn't take anything from anybody. He was the star of the Tigers for a long time, but probably not the biggest draw. From 1934 to 35, you know, the big money pitcher in terms of drawing the fans in was Schoolboy Rowe, who was just starting his career. But Schoolboy Rowe's career wasn't as long as Bridges, of course. He really only had a few excellent years. And then later in Bridges' life, he ran into some problems with alcohol. He was destitute near the end, but a great pitcher with the Tigers for a long time.
Talking to Scott Ferkovich, the author of Motor City Champs, Mickey Cochrane, and the 1934 to 1935 Detroit Tigers. So would you be able to describe to us the career of Charlie Gehringer?
Sure would. He was known as the Mechanical Man because he made it seem so effortless at second base. Probably the best second baseman the Tigers ever had, with Lou Whitaker being number 2.
Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Yeah. Yeah. He was from Fowlerville, Michigan, which is a farming town not far from Detroit. Lived here his whole life. You know, we look back at his stats, and not a big home run hitter for the time, but just a steady bat, good speed on the bases, always had a lot of hits, a lot of 200-hit seasons. In fact, I'm looking at the record now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 200-hit seasons.
The guy was amazing.
Finished with a lifetime batting average of .320, a career WAR of 80.6.
So what can you tell us about Goose Goslin?
Goose Goslin was the first acquisition that Cochrane made once he became manager of the Tigers. He was, I guess if I want to compare him to a more recent player, would kind of be along the lines of a Bill Buckner.
There's an interesting comparison, except he never let a ground ball go through his legs.
Well, luckily Goslin never did that. But a 300 hitter, veteran leadership in the clubhouse, that's what Cochrane was looking for, because the Tigers were a young club, and he wanted to bring in someone who had some World Series experience and a steady 300 bat. And it was actually Goose Goslin who got the hit that drove in the winning run in the 1935 World Series.
All right, and you touched on him a little bit before, but can you lay out for us the career of Schoolboy Rowe?
a really great what-if story. He came up, let's see, it was 1933, I believe.
Somewhere around there, early to mid-30s.
So his first year was 1934, that he really had a breakout year, and he won 24 games. And at the time, that season, he tied a record. It was an American League record for the most consecutive winning decisions, which was 16. And I think he shared it with Lefty Grove and I want to say Smokey Joe Wood.
There's a name out of the past for you.
Yeah. And actually, Rowe was a great two-way player. And at this time, Babe Ruth was kind of at the tail end of his career. And the league was looking around, and they're thinking, okay, who's going to be the next big star, which is what people were asking. And a lot of eyes kind of looked towards Schoolboy Rowe just because he was such a great hitter and a great pitcher. He had a lot of power. He didn't look like he would have a lot of power. He was kind of a tall, gangly guy, but he had great speed, great fastball. He won 24 games in 1934 and 19 the next 2 years before arm problems really kind of sent his career in a different direction. But and he was a popular player, a big draw on the stage wherever he went around the league.
Talking to Scott Ferkovich, the author of Motor City Champs, Mickey Cochrane, and the 1934 to 1935 Detroit Tigers. And Scott, I'll get you out on this. Would you be able to describe to us the career of Hank Greenberg?
The great home run hitter of his day, and a great clutch performer too, which I think a lot of people forget, because after he came out, he lost so many years to World War II, and when he came back jumping ahead a few years, when he came back in 1945, he hit the home run on the last day of the season that won the pennant for the Tigers. But he had 58 home runs in 1938. He made a serious run at Babe Ruth's single-season record.
He would have had more if the pitchers had pitched to him. They wouldn't let him break it because he was Jewish.
Exactly. And he always felt that RBIs were more important than home runs. And if you look at his record, he had 184 RBIs in 1937 in only 154 games. It's just incredible. But a real class act. The Tigers retired his number in 1980. I was actually at that game. I remember that they retired his uniform number along with Charlie Gehringer the same day.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that. They retired them both on the same day.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
that is.
I think it was around 1980 or maybe 1983. Yeah, I was at that game.
All right, Scott, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Jake. Anytime.
All right, that was Scott Ferkovich. His book is Motor City Champs, Mickey Cochrane, and the 1934 to 1935 Detroit Tigers. Let's take a quick break, but first, be the first caller to 516-572-7440, and you will win a 4-pack of tickets to the Long Island Nets, who are taking on the Erie Bayhawks on Tuesday, December 26th at 7 p.m. at NYCB Live, home of the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. For more information about the Long Island Nets, you may visit longislandnets.com or call 844-LI-NETS-1. Again, the number to call to win tickets is 516-572-7440. How about that, guys? Someone's going to win some Long Island Net tickets.
Telling you, call and get them.
Give Dom something to do. He's just sitting here doing nothing. He's literally waiting by the phone. Just someone call,
I'm
please.
waiting to pick it up.
Everyone's listening to Francesa.
Yeah, well, you can't win Long Island Net tickets
no,
there.
No, definitely not. We'll be talking football next on Beyond the Game on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
New York moms and dads, tune in. Dr. Monique Collier-Nichols, a member of the NAACP New York State Conference and pediatrician, talks about the importance of vaccinating your children.
As a pediatrician here in New York, I've seen firsthand how devastating vaccine-preventable diseases can be to our children. The CDC recommends a vaccination schedule that helps protect against 14 serious diseases before the age of 2. Yet, according to the National Immunization Survey, among African American children aged 19 to 35 months nationwide, approximately 30% have not been fully vaccinated with all the CDC recommended vaccines. As parents, getting our children vaccinated with all doses at the scheduled times is one of the most important steps we can take to help protect them from serious illnesses.
Families without vaccine